What's up guys? Today's video is about 5 love languages. This based on widely popular book by Dr. Chapman. Kung hindi pa siya narinig, ang concept ng book is about bawat isa pala sa atin ay mayroong love languages for giving and receiving love. And it's possible for couples, family, friends, and relatives that truly love each other but to feel unloved because they don't speak the same love languages. Diba sometimes akala natin hindi tayo mahal ng mga magulang natin or may favoritism sila. Hindi natin alam na yung kapatid natin na inakala nating favorite is nagagawa pala nito punuin yung love tank ng parents natin. So meaning nagkakaroon sila ng good communications. And also sa couples na akala nila na hindi na nila mahal yung isa't isa pero the real fact is nakalimutan lang ni Guy yung ginagawa niya before nung mga panahon nililigawan niya pa si girl. Syempre, kapag nandiligaw ka, masasagasaan mo lahat ng love languages. Like giving a gifts, giving a letter, it's affirmation, right? Words of affirmations, and etc. So, tendency nga, yun nga, madadaanan niya talaga yung mga needs na i-fulfilled sa love tank ni girl. So first, kailangan mo maintindihan kung ano yung primary love language mo. Then you have to seek to understand a love language of your loved ones so that maibibigay mo talaga yung mga kailangan nila o pangangailangan nila to fulfill their love tank. This applies not only to couples but also with relationships with your loved ones including parents, siblings, and friends. Number 1 is words of affirmation. Sometimes, words can speak than actions. Kung ito yung love language mo, ang magandang ibigay is compliments, words of encouragement, and appreciations, and positive words are truly life-giving. Hearing the words I love you are so important. As well, what's the reason behind that love? Ultimate or dislikes are insult, criticism, demanding words, hurtful to this type. Ayun yung mga bagay na hindi mo dapat ibibigay or gagawin sa kanya. Tips: if your loved ones are words of affirmations, make it a point to give more compliments, words of appreciations, and encouragement each of every day. Number 2 is acts of service. In this case, actions speak louder than words. People who speak this love language express their love by doing things for their loved ones. And they feel the most love when their loved ones do things for them. Example of acts of service by doing washing dishes, walking the dog, cooking meal, running errands. Ultimate or dislikes laziness, broken commitment, making more work for them are the huge no-no for this type. Tips: if your loved ones are acts of service, then do something you know he would like you to do. Help out with something. Number 3 is receiving gifts. For people, receiving gifts is their primary love language, not to be mistaken for materialism. These people thrive under thoughtfulness, love, and effort behind each gift. If is this your love language, then the perfect gift for is gesture that what or how you care for a sacrifice on how they give the gift to you. Dislikes: ultimate or dislikes, yung mga bagay na hindi mo dapat gagawin is missed birthday, anniversary, thoughtless gift would be a disaster for these types. Tips: if your loved ones speak a love language of receiving gifts, then keep a gift idea notebook. Anytime you hear your loved ones say this like something, write it down. Number 4 is quality time. These people feel the most love when you fully presence and engage with each other, they will see your love with a full and undivided attention being with. These people are so important to the rule of being there. Gusto nila walang phone, TV, and any distraction is important to make them feel happy and truly love. Also, ultimate and dislike distractions, postponed dates, or a failure to listen are especially hurtful for these types. Tips: if your loved ones speak the language of quality time, ask them what activity they love to do with you. Then make it a date without any distractions so you can enjoy the quality time together. Number 5 is physical touch. The person who love language is physical touch is naturally very touchy. Physical contact is the most important to these types, even in a simple act. So hug, kisses, simple touches on arm, shoulder, or face can be ways to show you really love these types. Ultimate or dislikes, yung mga bagay na wag mong gagawin sa kanila. Neglect, abuse, unforgivable, and destructive to these types. Tips: if your loved ones speak the love language of physical touch, try to touch the arm of your loved ones while you're talking or putting on the glove while you're sitting together. Actually, it's my types.
Are there love languages that don't mesh? Ooh, that's really a good question. What are the two hardest combinations?
It's different for every individual. Your number 5, that is the one that's least important,
Yes.
will be the most difficult for you to learn. If a couple marries and they both have the same love language, it might be much easier for them. Or if their first is your secondary, it's still going to be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But if their number 1 is your number 5,
yes.
that's where it's going to be a learning curve, stiff learning curve.
Okay.
But the good news is all of these can be learned. Even if you didn't receive them in childhood, you can learn them in adulthood if you understand why it's important to speak that language.
Okay. You had a question for Dr. Chapman, yeah?
Yeah, I'd love to know what Dr. Chapman's love language is and also what your wife's love language is.
My language is words of affirmation.
Well, now.
Well, now, see, we have something in common.
Yes, we do. Yes.
And my wife's love language is acts of service.
Oh, you're the same as us.
That's why I wash dishes, I vacuum floors, I carry out the garbage, I live with a happy woman. And she tells me how great I am.
That's great. Anybody else? Acts of service. What does that mean for you, acts of service?
My wife, Michelle, is a great cook, and we entertain quite often. And one of the first things I'll do after we finish eating, I'll start cleaning up, taking dishes, making sure that the kitchen, the living room, everything is in order. And she's like, no, stay, interact and exchange with our guests. For me, the best thing that I can do for everyone there is to, make the place tidy and neat.
Okay.
But it's been very unsatisfying, I think, for both of us, because I see how amazing that is, and I hear like all my female friends are like, wow, your husband's washing dishes, but that's not my primary love language. So I'm like, great, but how about you give me a hug? So I tied on physical touch and words of affirmation. So a lot of times what I tell him, he'll like do something at me and he'll look at me and he gives me a look like I'm trying to reach out to you, and I'll say, use your words, literally. And he just looks at me like, what are you talking about? So we kind of miss each other. Though we see each other doing things, it's kind of like, what are you doing and why?
Is it important, exactly, I think that's a great point that you both just brought up. Is it important if, for example, your love language is acts of service, that you clarify, you're able to state what those acts of service would mean?
I think so, because otherwise you can be doing acts of service for 10 years and think that you're doing a great job of loving them.
That's right. Running somebody's bathwater and putting out their shirts.
Yeah, and then one day they say, I just feel like you don't love me, and I'm walking out, and you're blown away. What are you talking about?
Yes.
So I think couples miss each other many times if they don't clarify what the language is.
Okay.
Because you're doing what you think would be meaningful to them.
Got it. Anyone else here have a question for Dr. Chapman? Yes, lady in red. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Chapman.
Hi.
My question is, my husband, I got him to fill out the profile test, and of the 5 love languages, 4 of them, his highest score was 7 across the board, and the other one was the low one. So what would you say for someone like that?
2 things. One, if 4 are equal, that means any one of those 4 you do, you're going to get credit for it.
Good.
Emotionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And here's a little game you can play when someone has several that are similar. Once a week, once every 2 weeks, you say to him, on a scale of 0 to 10, how full is your love tank tonight? And he gives you a reading. If it's anything less than 10, you say, what could I do to help fill it? And he gives you an idea. And then you have a choice to do it or not to do it. But he's giving you information that would speak to him on that particular day, and they would be more important than the others.
Oh boy, that'll work no matter what you say, though. Your love. What can I do to fill your love tank tonight? I think that's language that works no matter who you're talking to, does it not?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's love at first sight. A relationship ensues, but time passes. The high wears off, and maybe you've come down that mountain a bit. That's okay. It's even normal. It's not the end, it's only the beginning, and it can be the beginning of something great. Gary Chapman's New York Times best-selling book, The 5 Love Languages, has sold 8 million copies. Why? Because it works. Millions of couples have learned to identify and speak their partner's natural love language. They've learned how to love that person effectively. As Gary says, when you find out their love language and learn how to speak it, their love tank is full. When you don't, their love tank is empty. Introducing the Love Language Challenge. 5 weeks to a better relationship. Each week you will complete one challenge, something tailored to your partner's love language. We'll send gentle reminders to encourage you to keep at it. And every other day, you'll get an email or push notification suggesting a conversation starter to help you in your love language journey. Your relationship can improve, no matter how great it is to start with. 5 challenges, 5 weeks, 1 love story. Sign up for the Love Language Challenge today and get started. It's free, it's easy, and it works. The 5 Love Languages, the secret to love that lasts.